Begin lying on your back in Shavasana, the corpse pose. It's nice to start sitting and then roll back so that as much of your spine's in contact with the ground as you can. Have your heels at least hip width apart and let your legs roll out. Have your arms by your sides, a little away from your body, rolling out your upper arms so that your palms are up. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears and rest very relaxed, letting go of the weight of your arms and legs and letting your back rest on the ground. Then beginning Supta Pavanmuktasana, inhale as you lift up your right leg, exhale as you lift up your head, and then rest the two down to the ground. Inhale lifting up the left, exhale as you lift your head, and resting the two on the ground. Variations here, you could hold on to the thigh, the underside of the thigh, instead of your knees, as I'm showing here. As you inhale, you're expanding the abdomen. As you exhale, contracting. Again with the left, inhaling as you lift the leg, exhaling as you lift your head, and resting back down. When you lift both of your legs, it's a good idea to keep your lower back in contact with the floor. Here's a slightly more strong variation where you lift the legs straight, then bend the knees before you lift your head up to the knee and place it down. Next exercise, we're circling the legs. So we'll just practice 3 times in each direction. Keep your lower back grounded. Can be helpful to lift your pelvic floor. Keep the leg as straight as you can. You feel the work around the hip and in the abdomen. Bring the heel very close, almost kissing the ground. Just go all the way around 3 times. And then rest the leg down, letting go of the work through your hip and abdomen. Then the second side. And then going back the other way. So perhaps the first 3 times you take your leg over across the opposite leg initially, and the second 3 times take your leg out away from the other leg initially. With these kind of postures that require a lot of muscular effort, the relaxation at the end of the round is as important as the exercise. It allows blood to enrich the area that you've been working, bringing healing and health. So I'm going to practice into a variation of the boat pose now. Lifting up just high enough that you can see your feet. Stretching your fingertips towards your knees. What you can't see in the picture is the pelvic floor is lifting. Again, relaxing down. Avoid any discomfort in your lower back. So lifting the pelvic floor, inhaling up. Here I'm just showing a variation just with 1 leg. Easier than with 2. And you'll notice I've lowered my leg back down a bit. Sometimes you'll find it more of a challenge with the leg lower down. Be aware, keep tuned into your body. In the practice of yoga, your body and your mind are one. Your attention's on the posture. Sometimes you can use the bhava of the posture, you can consciously imitate. Lifting the pelvic floor here again and inhaling as you lower your legs over to the left initially, not taking the thighs all the way or the knees all the way down to the ground. And here I'm taking my knees to the left, so my right shoulder, I'll consciously keep that in contact with the ground. After a few breaths, which are easy and stable, I keep the pelvic floor lifted and inhale as I change sides, And you can see the legs are held above the ground. This way I'm strengthening my sides, my oblique muscles. Breathing easily. And then to stretch out the sides, and particularly to relieve tension in the lower back, I'll rest the feet on the ground this time. Sometimes it can be nice to cheat the bottom hip underneath your body to allow more rotation of the back. When it's a stretch, you might want to hold a little bit longer than I am, and that's fine. 20 to 30 seconds is good, longer if you have a stiffer back. So I'm going to practice into a shoulder stand now, an easy shoulder stand which we call Viparit Karani, or attitude of inversion. You might practice just by having your legs elevated up a wall with your bum as close to the skirting board as you can, or to go a little further than that, you could do the same thing with your legs up a wall but sitting on a high cushion. If you're comfortable practicing a shoulder stand like this, always remember to take the weight into your shoulders, not your neck and head, and to avoid taking your feet over the top of your head. You can see here that my feet are above my shoulders, not above my head. Controlling the descent if you want to work into a plough posture, and you might consider doing this one leg at a time, or placing a chair just behind you, and instead of resting your feet on the floor, rest them on the top of that chair, the seat of the chair. This is a good back stretch. Coming out of the posture, control, bending the knees to the forehead, rolling out, and using the momentum of your legs coming down to sit you up. Sitting cross-legged as if in meditation, and bringing the hands underneath you, lowering yourself down onto your elbows, then arching the back, lifting the lower ribs up to arch your back, and you can then rest the top of your head on the floor. Be careful not to press too much into the occiput, which is where your neck meets your head, at the very top of your neck. My clothes here don't give a very good indication, but my neck's comfortable, no more difficult than if I was just looking up into the air. And the pressure off of the forearms means I can control how much weight's in the top of my head. And this is called the fish pose, or Matsyasana. Relaxing, and then when ready, you can roll to your side and come up to sitting. Sit with your legs stretched out in front of you. Make yourself comfortable. Make sure you're sitting towards the front of your sitting bones. Bring your hands beside your hips to help make sure you're sitting nice and tall, using your core strength to maintain that sitting posture, and using the breath to loosen the toes and feet. Inhaling as you expand your toes, exhaling as you contract. Inhaling, and even let the breath make a whispering sound in the throat. Maybe just 3 times or so, 3 to 5 times. And then you start work on the ankles. Exhaling as the feet go away, inhaling as they come towards. Perhaps your heels will come up off the floor. The breath is going in your imagination into the joints and the parts of your body that you're moving. The attention, the breath and the movement, all there. Loosening off. Taking your heels a little bit further apart and circling the feet. So drawing circles with the big toes. Again, exhaling as the feet go away, inhaling as they come towards. 3 to 5 circles in each direction is just fine. And you feel the effect of this circling of the ankles all the way up your legs. Now bring your fingers right into the back of the knee joint. Exhale as you bend the knee and draw the toes back towards the shin. Inhale as you straighten the leg. maybe like it's inflating a party balloon. Exhale as the leg comes towards. Inhale as you point the toes. And this is really good for opening up the backs of the knees. So come up to standing now. Not too fast, you've been low down for a little while. Start standing with your feet like a perfect triangle, your heels about leg length apart. Turn out on your left foot and reach forwards as if your back was up against a wall and you're sliding along it, and then bring your left hand down to your left leg in a triangle. Here your head's away from your centre of gravity, so a little bit of core strength is good to maintain the posture. Turn on one foot, turn on the other, reaching the arm forwards and coming down into a comfortable triangle pose. Should be getting a stretch on the top side of your body, on the back of the leg over which you're stretching, and consciously keeping the side of your body nice and long. Turning your head to look towards the lifted hand, trying to bring the chin towards the shoulder. Here's an easier variation. Depending if your knees are sore or if you can't bend them, you can try different variations. You could even support yourself on a wall or on a chair to be more comfortable. In this kind of posture, when you're bending the knee, then your upper leg muscles work to stabilize your knee a little bit more. And you're still getting the stretch through the side and the core strength. Just a little less stretch down the back of your leg. Triangle poses are also good if practiced regularly for slimming the waist. So practicing into a balance here, and you could easily be holding onto a wall instead of having your hand on your hip, but still work towards your balance. Keeping the posture of your standing leg and your body good, and lifting the foot up in front of you, holding onto the big toe, or you could have a belt or a strap around your foot. Good to fix your gaze on a point to aid your balance. Maybe holding the posture for just 20 or 30 seconds. So we'll go into a palm tree pose now. Inhaling as you lift your arms up above your head. Feel as though you're being lifted up by your wrists, so your side stretch, and then coming up off your heels. If you start so that your big toes are together and your heels are apart, then as you lift up, then you're going to be coming up onto the balls of the feet evenly and all the toes are stretching. Here I'm just turning to the side so that you can see that as I lift up, that the tailbone's tucking under and the ribs are drawing in so that we're nice and straight. See, you want to get the stretch in the shoulders rather than just going into a back bend. Nice and still and stable as you lift the heels off the floor, coming right up onto the balls of the foot. Sometimes it's actually a little easier if you go a bit higher up, if your heels come higher up off the floor. And then just resting back down, rolling the spine nice and long on the floor, and resting back into your corpse pose for 2 or 3 minutes is usually good. So I'm going to add one additional exercise into this series, which is a breathing exercise, pranayama. Prana is like chi, it's the life in everything. And yama means to control or regulate. So in this posture we're using the breath and the energy in it to help relax primarily the nervous system. Sit comfortably, you can sit on a cushion or in a chair. so that the back's straight. You want to make sure that your upper back isn't rounded forwards, that your chest is nice and open to allow for the maximum volume of air. Breathe comfortably and easily, and after an in-breath, bring the index fingers pushing the little tabs at the front of the ears in to close the ears, and exhaling, making a humming sound by having your teeth slightly apart as you exhale. It should sound like the buzzing of bees. Not too fast, not too angry, just gentle, like the hum of bees over flowers in the summer. And you'll feel the vibration in your head, and you can expand that through your body, perhaps even directing it towards any areas where there's tension or injury. See how long you can exhale for. You'll find it's a very pleasant feeling. So this practice is taking around about 15 minutes, maybe a little longer as you start to extend the duration in some of the postures, or perhaps practicing more rounds. For example, you could practice triangle poses 3 times on each side for 30 seconds. It's a good standard to work towards. I hope you've enjoyed this practice, and if you have any questions, feel free to post comments here or email me directly, and I'll help you if I can.